Is the Cold War over? What has happened here? Yes, there's the big story in the New York Times. The 11th suspect, by the way, just arrested in Cyprus. Moscow is calling these spy claims baseless and improper. What is going on? Apparently, we have some folks who were what are referred to as deep cover agents who were here in the United States. Should we start worrying about Russian redheads, invisible links, shortwave radios, Wi-Fi cafes, and nuclear weapons? Alyona Minkovski is on the line with us. She has her own program on RT, which long ago was called Russia Today or Russian Television, but RT is the network now out of Washington, D.C. Alyona, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Thom. How are you doing today?
I'm great, and I should let our listeners know and our viewers know that I've been on your program a number of times as a commentator. I wanted to get your take on this. You understand both American and Russian. You speak both languages. What are your thoughts on what's going on here, and how is the Russian press dealing with this?
To me, the entire story seems a little fishy, and from my perspective, I've been speaking to a lot of people in Russia also. They said that when this first broke out, people got a little nervous, but at the time, or in the moment, the more information that comes out about this story, the funnier it sounds, the more ridiculous it looks. I mean, we have people that were these deep cover agents. They aren't even being charged on espionage charges. They're being charged for money laundering.
And for failing to register as foreign agents.
Failing to register as foreign agents, and we have cables supposedly decoded by the FBI that are basically telling them, remember, you're a spy. I mean, it just seems so sloppy that to me, it doesn't seem like a real story, so I think there's a little bit too much being put into it right now.
Could it be, and I'm putting on my conspiracy hat here, that before the Citizens United Supreme Court decision, if a foreign country wanted to influence U.S. foreign policy or, know what was going on or whatever, they maybe needed a spy. Now all Russia needs to do is just set up a U.S. corporation, pump a couple $1 billion into it, build a factory to make cars in New Jersey or something, and register as a lobbyist in Washington, D.C. and start showering money on politicians. I mean, it's.
I think you're definitely right in that, in the sense that, sure, before maybe you had to hire your own consultant or hire your own lobbyist from outside of the country and go, through some other means that are a little more secretive. But now Citizens United has just made it that much easier. There's just no need for spies like this that are embedded for, they've been here since the 90s, that they also have taken on these American names. They're living in suburbia and have beautiful hydrangeas that make their neighbors question whether they could ever go against the United States. Exactly. I think this could be done in a much easier way.
Right. And I should note, you've been here since you were 4 years old here in the United States. And as a Russian-born American citizen, and, have you experienced a stigma associated with being, since the end of the, quote, Cold War, I think many Americans thought everything's just kumbaya. Has that not been the case during this time, and might this be the kind of thing that starts flipping, a form of anti-Russianism in the United States?
Well, you're right. I've lived in this country since I was 4 years old. I was 5 by the time the Soviet Union collapsed, and aside from perhaps some of my friends making jokes in high school or college, calling me a commie or a red every now and then, or my piano teacher as a kid telling me how she used to have to hide under desks during schools for drills in case the Russians were coming to bomb us. Really, none of it has ever hit me seriously. No one. I've never thought that there was that negative stigma that really rang true. But anytime a story like this comes around, this is what the people that are still stuck in the Cold War love. This is what they want to jump on. This is what Fox News wants to jump on when there's all of a sudden a fiery-haired femme fatale involved.
Oh, yeah. And John Bolton, I'm sure, is just getting a reincarnation right now. It's just,
Oh, this is what he lives for. Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, this happened just a week after President Medvedev and President Obama had this very cordial meeting. And there were some people who were questioning the timing. The New York Times today just came out with a story about how one of these people was apparently preparing to leave the country, and that's why the FBI felt like they had to move in now. I don't know if that's the FBI saying, okay, we've got to come up with a reason about why. I mean, is there any, in the reports that you're hearing, both here in the United States and from around the world, I know RT is a worldwide news organization, what's the general take on that, the timing?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are questioning the timing because after last week when the two presidents, they had a bilateral meeting, they went out for burgers together and they shared fries. And really, on my show, we also did an entire segment on that and said, is that the sign of a reset or what? That things just seem a little bit too good to be true. And, and that's why you have to question the timing of this case, the fact that if they've been investigating these people for years and years, why did they do it 3 days after? Somebody has to stand to benefit from it. Yesterday I had Ray McGovern on my program, a former CIA official, and he was saying perhaps it's the FBI, because lately they have absolutely nothing to show for themselves. They can't catch the terrorists, so they have to prove to people, hey, they can still catch the Russians. So, everyone is really kind of laughing it off and saying, somebody here has to be working behind the scenes, pulling strings to try to undermine what the Obama administration has achieved here in terms of their newly reset relationship with Russia, which I think, for the most part, no one, aside from, there are a few people in Washington, perhaps those conservative minds, perhaps the older generation that don't want to see the relationship move forward. But other than that, I mean, these are two very important powers in the world that need to have a strong political relationship.
We're talking with Alyona Minkovski. Am I pronouncing that right, Alyona?
Minkovski.
Thank you. I've never said your last name out loud, Minkovski. The Washington, D.C. correspondent for Russia, for RT Television, RT.com is the website. This is a weird question, but it's on everybody's mind. We're invisible ink. I mean, all of this stuff. And in fact, let me take that a step farther. The FBI could have arrested these people in a way that was quiet and ended this, and in fact, maybe even taken them into custody for a few weeks and gotten a whole lot more information out of them. Instead, they chose to do a huge dog and pony show about it and explode it publicly. Your take on that, and the take that you're hearing, again, from the other correspondents in the other news organizations that you interact with on a daily basis as the U.S. correspondent for an international news agency.
That's right. We have invisible ink involved. We have brush passes. I think we have orange bags that had been passed from one person to
we got
another.
A redheaded babe. That's really, that's getting...
A redheaded babe. It really seems like it's out of a spy a novel or a movie that's coming out these days, but it doesn't seem very sophisticated, if you ask me. So I agree. I think that perhaps this is just a sloppy PR job done by, let's say, the FBI that really needs to prove that they're still worthwhile these days.
Or could it be a sloppy leftover from the Cold, and we have about a minute left here, Alyona. Could this be a sloppy leftover from the Cold War when we actually were spying on each other aggressively, the United States and Russia, and this was a program that got started and nobody knew how to stop it or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's always that possibility that there are these programs left over from other times that maybe got started and somebody completely forgot about it. Because we also have at the same time former KGB officials coming out and saying that even at the height of the Cold War, there were never more than 10 spies in the U.S., which is why a lot of people in Russia, in the Russian
maybe
press,
these were the 10
circles are questioning it. They're saying it's just not possible. This just seems like such a deep-rooted operation that why would they invest so much time into it? And then, of course, the FBI can't even really find anything on them. So, my opinion, it's a PR job and it's a media stunt. Okay.
Alyona Minkovski, the Washington, D.C. correspondent for RT. You can watch her show over at RT.com, and it's a great show. Check it out. Alyona, thanks for coming on with us.
Thanks, Thom. It was good to talk to you.
Great talking with you.